The man tasked with trying to protect workers from being exploited says good employers have nothing to fear. Matthew Taylor said the country now needs to focus on the quality of jobs rather than the quantity of them. His review of the so-called gig economy didn't call for a ban on 0 hours contracts, rather a change in status for workers who want the likes of sick pay and holiday pay. Sally Lockwood has the details and the reaction.
Mags Dewhurst is a cycle courier and one of 5 million people who now work in the so-called gig economy. Instead of a regular wage, they get paid per job. It's a form of employment that's on the rise, but employment law hasn't kept pace with this new way of working.
Well, we're already entitled to the minimum wage, that's the point. And the legal challenges have already shown that we are entitled to the minimum wage for every minute, every second, every hour that we are working.
Today, a government review into the modern British workplace recommended a crackdown on insecure and exploitative conditions.
There's nothing wrong with 0 and low hours contracts, but they should be a means to two-way flexibility, not a lazy way for those with market power to dump risk on those who lack that power.
Among the recommendations, the report author called for a new minimum wage level for workers on 0 hours contracts, legislation to change the status of gig workers, and the right for people to request a fixed number of hours. These recommendations will reinforce the hope given to Uber drivers last year, who won a landmark ruling to be treated as workers instead of self-employed. But the company has been granted the right to appeal. And many argue these companies shouldn't be given a special status.
The government is obviously on the sides of Uber, Deliveroo, and they're even trying to say that they are platforms and that somehow they are special and different and that the current law doesn't apply to them. So they're really playing into the spin produced by these employers, and we should be calling them employers and holding them to account as employers.
The likes of Uber, Deliveroo and City Sprint have said many of their workers like being their own boss and take home well over the national living wage. But others say today is far from a victory for workers' rights. Sally Lockwood, ITV News.
Well, let's get some more reaction now. I'm joined by Jim Benfield, who is a delivery rider for Deliveroo and a member of the Independent Workers' Union of Great Britain. Thank you very much for coming in. You've had Matthew Taylor, you've heard what he's had to say today.
That's right, yeah.
What's your reaction?
Well, I'm really disappointed, first of all, because they seem to have ignored the recommendations of the IWGB union, which represents huge amounts of gig economy workers,
which was calling specifically for what?
Well, amongst other things, the removal of employment tribunal fees and, you know, the buttressing of the employment classifications that already exist. But it seems like amongst the other things that Taylor is recommending is he's saying that gig economy workers maybe shouldn't be entitled to even a guaranteed minimum wage, which for me, and I'm sure for lots of other people out there, is quite a terrifying prospect.
Yeah, because people who don't work for companies who offer these types of contracts presumably presume that people are all given the minimum wage, whatever job they're in, but that isn't the case, you would argue.
Well, you might see it's a consensus, right, that everyone's entitled to a certain, you know, a floor, a wage beyond which your income cannot drop. But that is not the case. Gig economy workers, potentially the biggest growing sector in the UK. You know, maybe there's more than 1 million of us out there. And we're talking about 1 million people or more and a growing sector that might not be entitled to the minimum wage.
You're going on shift later today. Take me through an average working week for you.
Well, it depends day to day. I mean, like I said, I enjoy the flexibility amongst other people. And it could be one night I'll work, one night I don't. One week I'll do one shift, you know, or maybe for a month I won't do anything. It's flexible. But the problem is I don't want to exchange employment rights for flexibility, nor do I believe I should have to.
Do you feel as if Matthew Taylor's missed an opportunity here? Because you've been arguing that you should have that flexibility, and many people do support the 0 hours contracts and that way of working. But you should also have that flexibility along with rights, and there's nothing substantial in his report to change that, or is there?
Well, exactly. I mean, the Taylor review is obviously biased in the favour of the large companies. One of the people on the panel is an investor, an early investor in Deliveroo.
He would argue that he is trying to change the status, changing the language to dependent contractor, and that will change the rights of those people who want their rights to change.
Yes, he is, but what he could simply do is enforce the laws that already exist, which is what we've been arguing for quite a long time.
OK, Jim Benfield, thank you very much for coming in. Thank you.